Hi everybody. Hey, in today's video I'm going to show you how I frame in this walk-in door here in my barn. Typically you'd want to put the hinge side of your door right up against a post, but because I'm going to have a divider wall cutting my barn down about a third of my barn here, that wall is going to be just on the inside of this post, so I need to move my door out a little bit. So I'm going to frame this wall in to accommodate that 36-inch man door, and I'll show you how I do it. Well, I want to make sure that my concrete is flat and there's no little goobers sticking up. I want my 2x6 base to sit nice and flat. Okay, so I'm going to frame this up with pressure treated 2x6 for the base plate, and then just regular 2x6 SPF for the stud walls. And first thing I want to do is lay this out, my base plate, and then I'm going to plumb up each stud as I go, because there's not going to be a top plate. They're going to slip in between the headers. Alright, let me explain why I cut this plate the way I did. So I thinned it down here, and I also notched this out, and that's because what I wanted to do was set the sill of the door at the same height as the top of my toe board. And what I did when I poured this slab is I sloped this up a little bit on purpose, so when you step in with snowy boots and stuff, the water will run away from the door. I didn't want water getting back underneath this plate. So my plan was lift the door up high enough to sit on top of here. And then when I pour the slab outside, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slope the concrete up to the bottom of the door. And then that way all the water will run off. I won't have a puddle outside the door, and I won't have standing water on the inside from melting snow. Okay, now I'm going to stand my studs up, nail them in, and then I'll anchor this to the concrete. I may have forgotten to mention why I notched this out, and that's because a pre-hung door for a 6-inch wall is 5.5 inches from here, the base plate, the threshold. So the threshold is only going to come to here. I'm going to have to extend the jambs because this is a 2x6, but we got this extra 1.5 inches for the purlin space out here. That this is more like an 8-inch wall, and I really don't want to special order a door with 8-inch jambs. So what I'll do is I'll just use a 6-inch door, and the threshold will come to there. The jambs will come into 1/2 inch further than that. Oh yeah, the other reason why I wanted to do it this way, I could have just cut this off and just had 2 different plates here, but I wanted to keep this wall as strong as possible because you're going to be opening and closing this door all the time, and the stiffer this wall is, the less bounce you'll get, and the better it'll hold up in the long run. So here's my layout. So this will be a king stud here. This will be the full length stud. This will be a jack stud, which will go to the top of the door rough opening, which will be 84.5 inches. But I'm measuring my rough opening from here. So that's about 1 inch right there, that difference, about 1 inch. So that means that this jack stud's got to be 83.5. And then I'm going to go for my header, we'll go from here across to here. So this is a 38-inch rough opening, so with 1.5 inches on either side, that gives me a 41-inch long header. So those are the cuts I got to make. 2 jack studs at 83.5, my header at 41, and then the rest of them will be a full length stud, which will go up in between the header up there and get nailed in. Okay, I'm going to start with the first king stud. I'm going to make sure that's nice and plumb and nail it top and bottom, and then I'll just work my way across. So there's my rough opening, 38 inches wide, and then from my bottom plate I got 84.5. Well, now I'm going to anchor my base plate here to the concrete, so I'm going to use my Hilti hammer drill. With a 3/16 bit. I'm going to run a tap con to it with my impact driver. So because this is where the door is going to open and close against, I'm going to put 2 screws here just to make sure it doesn't wiggle around. So then over here you can see I just put my purlins on. I extended the purlin from over the garage door over as far as I could. I have 2 more short triple studs put in here, and then I'm going to block with a 2x4 on the flat, block in all these spaces. So that's what I have left to do. So the reason why that purlin's offset is because I moved that one up because of the garage door, whereas that one was centered at 2-foot centers all the way up. And my garage door, the bottom of that header is 8 foot. Well, thanks for watching. Hope this helps. And if you want to see the rest of the pole barn build series, I'll link it up in the card up there. Thanks again. Oh, there's foam there, that's why.